Hello, welcome to 8 Eagles Gather, and I'm doing another presentation here right now that will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. And this one, I want to talk about one of my first books that I wrote. Here's a picture of it called A Dilemma in Canada Centennial. And if you'll notice at the bottom, there's the maple leaf. This was particularly chosen as part of a design on this book. Multifaceted maple leaf to show the multifaceted nature of the building of country from various groups of people from all over the world. So that is one of the choices there. But this book was written in 1967 by myself, and what I did, I planned it out special. I've got my original notes from when I wrote this book, because it was 1967, the Centennial of Canada. It's made up of 100 verses, and it took me the whole year to write this book. It's written in poetic form, and so what I did was that when you open up the book and you read every 2 pages, that was written at a certain time and part of the year, like the first 2 pages perhaps January, February. I closed up everything and waited, and then opened it up again in terms of notes and another kind of an aspect or a kind of a parallel or a thematic theme went on to the next 2 pages. And I'm going to actually give you a sample here, and I don't know if I'm going to be brave enough to actually sing any of this, but some of this I've actually kind of turned into a song or whatever. But let me just share some of the things with you. So I'm going to take this book, and my name is written on the book and things like that. So here we go. A Dilemma in Canada Centennial. And the word dilemma means, and I did record this about in myself being stuck in the 60s and not knowing what I was going to do. This book speaks directly to the dilemma was with me. What am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do in terms of a career or whatever? And that was decided in the midst of 1967, with my dad helping me figure out and suggest, hey, why don't you go into teaching? And so that's all part of this book. But when I look through it, and I see that the beginning of the pages here, I'm just going to read a few things here. The Right Honourable Lester B. Pearson of Canada was Prime Minister. He was the one who gave us the present Canadian flag, the red bars on the outside and the red maple leaf. And I look down here, and I'm just going to scan this for a couple of minutes here. The federal minimum wage at that point in time was $1.40, okay, per hour. Average yearly income was $7,300. Gasoline per gallon for our souped-up cars, our high-speed cars, and our muscle cars, as I call them. And I had a muscle car that I called my muscle car in 1967. 33 cents a gallon. Okay, that puts it somewhere at around 8 cents a liter for high-octane gasoline. That was pretty incredible. And so we had all kinds of, it says here, the Beatles released Sgt. Pepper, The Graduate, The Fugitives, The Monkees, shows on TV. All that kind of stuff was going on. Building sets, battery-operated toys, chemistry sets, and so on, mechano sets. Those were all kinds of things that kids had to play with. We didn't even have cell phones back then. We had some of the old dial phones or party lines or whatever and things like that. And I think that cell phones probably are gone way overboard today. Kids are using them far too much. My advice would be the sooner they put some of these things down and start doing some thinking and dreaming on their own, the better for them. But we would go to, my wife and I would go to book sales, and we would have some of our books on the table, and I would actually do some reading from the first 2 pages of the book, specifically, pick out a few pages, and I'd say, well, has an author ever read to you yet? And they'd say no, and I'd say, well, here's the first time that you're going to hear an author read to you, and here's what I'm going to read right to you right now. And what would happen to some people when I read these particular 5 verses, and I'm in between 2 others selling their items on each side, And these people right in front of our table would break into tears. And I'd put my hand across them and I'd say, what's happening? And what was happening was basically that they were reminiscing their own childhood and thinking back to some of the precious things that they remembered growing up with as well. So here we go. Let me read these 5 little verses to you. And here we go. Oh, stand fast, Canadian, 100 years have passed. Be proud that you're Canadian. Then we shall always last. From the sea-bound coast of Newfoundland to the land of the timber tree, from Erie to the Virgin Northland, is our country from sea to sea. It's our land, our northern lights, dreamlands made for vacation, fishing and skiing and moonlit nights, now a centenary celebration. Now here's one of the verses that would get to them, okay? But wait till you've seen the prairie sunset at the end of a waning day, and the glance to the west of boy and pet with the smell of new mown hay. It's an untamed land just starting to grow. It's the land for you and me. We're proud of our culture and know we're the true north, strong and free. We fought for freedom, we fought for peace. We'll fight on and surrender never. Canada geese and the mounted police and the maple leaf forever. I would read those 5 verses and it would just have such impact on people, and it still has impact on me today. And I could turn that into a song and kind of sing some of this through, and it would be something like this. Oh, stand fast, Canadian, 100 years have passed. Be proud that you are Canadian, then we shall always last. It's our land, our northern lights, dreamlands made for vacation, fishing and skiing and moonlit nights, now a centenary celebration. But wait till you've seen the prairie sunset at the end of a waning day, and the glance to the west of boy and pet with the smell of new mown hay. It's an untamed land just starting to grow. It's the land for you and me. We're proud of our culture and know we're the true north, strong and free. We fought for freedom, we fought for peace. We'll fight on and surrender never. Canada geese and the mounted police and the maple leaf forever. So I don't know, don't turn this off, okay? That was a little bit of my singing a cappella, okay? But you can see how easily something can be turned, verse can be turned into song quite easily. And so this goes on for several pages, as I said, thematic, okay, from one open page to another, written at different times of the year. Now if I went right to the back of the book, I'm just looking here quickly. Okay, what it says here, okay, the two last verses, 2 last pages, right at the bottom, written December 31st, 1967, Sig Erickson, okay, my last name spelled E-I-R-I-K-S-S-O-N, first name Sig. I'm named after an uncle who was killed on Juno Beach in the Second World War, so the full first name is Sarion, S-I-G-U-R-J-O-N, in Manitoba, Canada, okay. It says here, the mist still hangs and the forests still smell as they have for 100 years. Now the land's as rich, its beauty as well, as it's been for 100 years. So stand fast, Canadian, 100 years have passed. Our Confederation scheme is utopian, we'll fight for it till the last. And you know, when I think about words like that, written in this book, when I was just basically a young guy, a teenager, I think of our national anthem. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. And you know what? We want to do that. We like to do that. Our soldiers, our home team of people that supported the war efforts in the First World War, the Second World War. I'm looking right at a poster in this direction toward me that we have also in our home. My dad in his Legion outfit with his medals on, the picture of an uncle, my uncle who was killed on Juno Beach that I'm named after. We've got these memorials set up in our house just regularly. We're not taking them down because our country was built on the sacrifice of people all kinds of different ways throughout our history. And not only the soldiers that actually went over, the ones that were killed on various beaches in various wars, the memorial will always exist for them. I'm looking at letters and poems that were written when my uncle, was killed on Juno Beach. The letters that were written by the government of Canada to talk about his body being moved from one place to another. Absolutely horrifying things. But, you know, I used to have a website that was called Canada 150 Inheritor. And I put the word inheritor in there because that's what I based still almost up to this day. I inherited this country, as a young person, as a person born in 1948 in Canada. My inheritance rests on the back of countless people who sacrificed in so many different ways. And getting back to the song, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. I don't know how many people actually know and realize that there's more than one verse or one segment to the national anthem, O Canada. It goes on for, I think, at least 2 or 3 different verses. And people should maybe take a look and look up those verses just because it's still part of, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Now, that is one thing that I still personally want to do today. I'm involved, not only as a Christian in various ways, but basically on the idea, if you see something, say something, do something, pick up the phone some of our political leaders, and do some insistence and playing a little bit of hardball to say, look, this isn't the way it used to be. We've got to straighten up some of these issues here before we're really, really in deeper trouble than what we are now as a country. So, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. It's up to each one of us to do our part and say, look at guys out there, political leaders, everybody, enough's enough. This has got to be turned around. This has got to be stopped. So I leave that with you. I find myself, teaching in schools in Manitoba for over 40 some years. The Lord said to me one day, I'm going to switch this all over to Bible teaching. You're now a Bible teacher, because you've read the Bible through so many times and things like that. I want you to do this work and carry it on. So that's part of the reason why I'm putting on these YouTube videos under 8 Eagles Gather. So bye for now. Have a good day, and there will be more to come. Take care. Bless you, each and every one of you. Bye for now.